What up, bro?
What's good?
Not much.
Hell yeah. Dude, look, I'm gonna send you a DM. That's funny. You just look what I just got. Hold on. I'm gonna send you this DM.
What's good? What's good?
Nah, shit, man. Just I haven't really looked at the charts too much today. Not on my PC at all. Just glancing at it on mobile. Try not fucking clicking your shit, Divine. Hold on. Look what I just got, Divine.
What happened?
Look at your messages. Like when I saw that at a glance, I didn't see that there's no S on it, and I was like, dude, why did he change his picture to this? And then I clicked it and I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, imagine.
So like right now with Bitcoin, really, our swing range is super fucked up. Like really, it's this high up here. For me, I know it's kind of cluttered. Because we came up here. This was for me. It came up, pull back, swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low, and then we switched bearish here, and then came here, and then you could say we wicked up there. Whichever one of these you choose your high. I picked the actual higher wick. And then we came all the way down. We really didn't get a pullback this entire time. So this is your swing range currently. Price came back up to the swing, or the heavy premium, and we even cleared some liquidity. I think it technically may have wicked out one of these. I don't know. I mean, you could look at this, I guess, as bullish. I'm just not convinced as of yet. This is a weird one. This is where crypto's, the price action has gotten kind of odd. I think which one wicked it? Maybe this one did a pivot out. So you could look at it like that as your swing range, but I don't know, man. I just don't really trust that. Is this right here, like this range? Because the main reason I don't like it so far, and that could change, but really right now, I just see a ton of sell side liquidity being engineered, which tells me this could be more just like a redistribution. Also, the highs seem like they're getting manipulated more. We're getting more lick rates to the upside in the kill zones. Like if you look like in the London kill zone, liquidity rate right here, move down, and liquidity rate, New York session, come back down, clear that out, clear out that sell side. I don't really see much of a reason to be bullish here just yet. Now, what I'm looking for in order to, if I were to look for longs, us to break back above these highs up here, preferably close a candle. But if we can get a nice wick above these highs, that would convince me to have more of a bullish perspective. But at this moment, I'm still in shorts that I got in way over here. But for those of you that aren't in any kind of short position or anything on Bitcoin, I think you could watch this zone up here. While this new supply is being introduced and respected, I could see this high getting ran. It happens almost every time when we have this kind of setup. It's getting pretty picture perfect with crypto. Like we'll have, for instance, it happened over here on a very much smaller scale with this high. You have this high, you think that's the high, and then price runs up, clears that liquidity, and moves to the downside. Also, there's an imbalance right here that could be filled. It's very similar to the setup up here. So I would be watching that area. It's right around 30,950. If you get starting to see a change of character in the 15-minute, or even really the 1 minute in this area, you could look for shorts. You could also look here, I guess, but for me, I mean, it isn't a premium, so you might catch some scalps, but I want that to get taken. It's just too picture perfect. For ETH, I took these out. I closed these early. I don't know if you guys did or not. I know I put a message out that you could. The reason I did, I still like, the structure. To be honest, it's just not really showing me the kind of momentum I want to see. Let me clear this. It's just pretty lackluster. We're coming down. You're barely getting any kind of momentum coming off of these levels. Let me hide this so you can actually see. And also engineering a ton of sell side liquidity and all these relatively equal lows. So I would feel more comfortable if that gets cleared. And it's just, it looks, I guess, better than Bitcoin, but everything just is not very strong, in my opinion, for any kind of swing trades. We'll catch intraday longs, stuff of that nature, but I don't really see it with Ethereum, and also with Ethereum too. If you're looking at the swing structure, first of all, the 4 hour, I want it to come up higher before I even think about really shorting it. I want it to come up in this zone minimum, ideally this zone. But when we're looking at the when we're looking at the 15-minute, if you're going by your swing structure, this was at one point your swing right here. You cleared up above it, swing low, came up. Now you were bearish, switch bearish there, and then now your swing range is this whole. You could draw it two ways. I mean, you could draw it all of this, and we would still be bearish, or you could look at this as a pullback. Which honestly, I mean, the 15-minute. So, I mean, that's a decent. I know it doesn't seem like much here, but that's pretty normal. And just crypto swing structure has completely just been obliterated lately. It's these huge roller coasters that'll create a huge range for us to play within. But that, I mean, you could say that's a pullback. So that was where I got these market structure breaks here. Got two breaks of structure to the upside. Demand seemed to be respected here. Nice reaction there. But again, just very lackluster. You didn't get any kind of break of structure off this demand on the 15-minute. And instead you came back down lower. And, I liked the setup the other day because it was kind of like, the 3-tap that we see. And we had this fair value gap that got filled. But now it's just kind of just really lackluster, I guess is the word for it. I'll still watch it, but I just didn't see enough for me to hold that position and sleep on it the other night. It took a little bit of gains, nothing crazy, but I'd rather not take an L if it does tumble. Another thing, too, to keep in mind, SPY, oh, wow, yeah, it's already moving. SPY, really the better POI would probably be down in this area because you see this displacement after it. And then we have this swing that we've made on the 4 hour. And you want to come back into this premium, or I'm sorry, into the discount. So this, I'm surprised this hasn't taken Bitcoin with it, in all honesty. That's where I'd look for SPY to come. Bitcoin usually moves a SPY, but we haven't seen much of a movement here. That I don't know what really to think about that, in all honesty, but it's interesting. Again, it's just crypto's just being boring, like it's kind of been lately. It seems like money's kind of flowing out of crypto, and the interest is sorry, excuse me. The interest is kind of declining for maybe institutions that are starting to rebalance, from risk off or more towards risk off assets. That's why we're seeing like less volume as well than usual. Look, I think there's been a couple of volume spikes here, but the highest volume spikes here. If you look back in this area, it was like that whole accumulation we had. The volume is much, much higher than we're seeing now. It just doesn't seem like there's much interest at all. Not big money, at least. But that's kind of where I'm at with Bitcoin. If we came down to one of these regions down here, probably this candle's where I'd look. You could if we came down here first, I would maybe look for longs, because you'd have a nice little liquidity sweep there and sweep out all these lows here. But I wouldn't really mess with it until then, and I would need double confirmation, like at least a 15-minute internal change of character followed by a flip. I wouldn't really just set limits off that. Like what I wanted to look at was TRX. So TRX on the 15-minute, the 4 hours still bearish, pretty clearly, and it seems like we are respecting this newly introduced supply here. Came down, got another internal break of structure, came back up into that zone there, but we're starting to consolidate here. Price is kind of indecisive. It's accumulating orders. I don't know whether we're going to distribute from here or go up necessarily, but what I'm looking for, because if I look at the swing structure here, I see a more bullish swing structure on the 15-minute, because this is the way I would plot it. Here, you can start back over here if you want. I think we can all agree that this down here, or down to here, was a swing. We came down here, had that light pullback. Now you've changed bullish. This one's interesting. I mean, you really could say right here to here to around here. I wouldn't say that's a low, because remember, we didn't make a new high, because if we're in an uptrend, we're looking to make a new high in order to confirm a new low. This is where it gets indecisive. Just good old crypto for you. Guess you could draw that, and you switch. It's just so choppy. But moral of the story is, if we look up here, came up, and you started to shift bearish, right? We started to see that bearish price structure form. Oops, I shouldn't have clicked that one. Here, and then right here, you form this zone right here. This was your swing high and your swing low. Now we broke above that. So for me, right now, the price swing is this whole move right here. And as of right now, we haven't broke out of it. We're just kind of moving around in between it, engineering liquidity on both sides. But I would look for longs off of this level down here, 7938. After all this liquidity is ran, all these equal lows are taken out, and we had that displacement after this can. I don't know why. It's usually that indicator I use shows, but there is a fair value gap still here. It's not much of one, but not been filled all the way. One of you could drop from this line. It's that same setup. We have that inducement where early longs have been put into the market, and now they have their stop losses here or here, any of these weak lows throughout. I think I want to get all these get ran, and then maybe one more push up. And when I look for where, well, when we came back up to this 4-hour zone, you saw a change of character to the downside. Then when you really saw that displacement come into the market was we could use this institutional candle here, and that candle's already been tapped into, but barely. And if you're using supply and demand and you just use the last candle or the last internal range, we haven't even touched into that yet. That would be a potential target when you're building that narrative of what needs to happen here. It'd be a counter trend trade to the higher time frames. But what I would be looking for to execute is this obvious liquidity rate down here. I'd want price to push into this demand zone and then get a low time frame break of structure with displacement. Kind of like an ICT setup where you just have the price come down into your POI. Once it does, you kind of make this pattern right here, get that break of structure, and you leave a fair value gap. Price comes into the fair value gap, the order block, and you can just target buy side liquidity above. But I wouldn't force that. I wouldn't try to get in anywhere except here if there. So Actually, I'm going to take BLZ off. I was waiting for it to do stuff. It just, if you trade the 15-minute, you can trade BLZ, but BNB. Yeah, BNB, I'm looking at the higher time frames. I really have a pretty bearish bias here just because of all this sell side liquidity down here. Ton of equal lows. So that would be overall the weekly liquidity target. So, you know, you could look really anywhere in premium of whatever higher time frame, you know, higher than your execution frame. You know, you could look to get into shorts it and any premium of that, if you ask my opinion. Now, while the 4-hour is bullish, you know, if we use this, I'm just not convinced yet that we get to get a closure above. I'm not going to look to swing longs. Instead, what I would look for, I mean, you're coming down to this area right at equilibrium. Now, I might be interested in longs down here if we get a nice 15-minute reversals, like you know, breaks of actual market swing structure, not even change of character. But downwards from that 255 region. But other than that, I don't really see much interest in taking any longs on BNB. If anything, I think Flow actually had a POI somewhere up in this area. I'm guessing it's probably right here. But this is where, there or here is where I would like to short. I don't know. I like this POI personally. I think he had this one. Something like 306 or something. But I would watch BNB. Sorry, excuse me. As it came back up to those levels. I gotta just delete my fucking charts. I hate when I have too much TA. It's just so cluttering.
Motherfuckers.
What's up? I think it was it 3. Let me see.
Oh, I'm so angry.
Yeah, this isn't a bad POI either. Up here. Or got tapped into either. I can't tell if that's dead or not. The dude that was just sitting there, why so wavy? I'm pretty convinced it is. Because this is where the distribution really started, was up here. If you look at this candle right here, we have that move. Price came up and filled almost all the imbalance, but it did not fill all the way up where I would want. I would still watch other areas, though. I wouldn't just be fixated on that one. So I want to see what this right here is in the 4-hour. I guess it's yeah, because this is where I see real displacement coming to the market. You also really haven't dug deep enough in this demand zone either. It looks like you formed some equal lows, relatively equal at least. You know, I don't know. I mean, you could look at this as it's been tapped into by this candle. Look on the 15-minute and see what it looks like there. I guess if you drew the last little pivot zone. I actually didn't. I would look for at least this to get tapped. Overall, though, if I'm looking to get in a swing position on BNB, I'm trying to get in premium of the 4-hour range, which we're in. Also premium of whatever M15 range I'm in. And then from there, I would look to target those weekly lows. I mean, I would trim along the way, of course, but that would be the end game target. I mean, here, BNB is a bullish 15-minute range. You could look for longs upon here, and we're starting to get these pretty clear setups. They just take more patience, where you're getting these lows. You have a lot of sell side liquidity being built up, and then you have that pretty clear displacement that hasn't, this fair value gap and this order block that has not been tapped yet. So patience pays with these setups. You could look at this as one of those. Actually, this is a pretty clean accumulation manipulation distribution setup, because we have this price comes down, liquidity gets swept over and over again, break, market structure break up, displacement. We're now arranging on both sides, engineering liquidity here in this whole range. So I'll actually set an alarm here. I usually don't really rush too much trading on Thursdays and Fridays. You don't see as good price action. The daily moves are not as big as the first Monday through Wednesday. So I think, if you've done well for the week, there's no reason to continuously just waste your time looking at charts when there's not much going on. I mean, I'm not saying there's no trades, but I think we can both agree today's been boring compared to the last couple of days. Maybe tomorrow will be different, but I would just advise plotting out setups, building your story of what you want to happen, and then making a move from there. So for me, I've established my weekly bias. I mean, I want to see these lows way down here get cleared. I'm gonna delete them off my chart, but I want to see this get cleared here. These are relatively equal lows, so that's going to be pretty clear sell side liquidity for me. Before I saw any kind of weekly pullback, I would want that to get cleared, because we're just forming that. We're engineering that sell side liquidity, inducing retail stop losses to be there. Also, this what makes me think it could be a liquidity grab. That 4-hour break of structure is we've seen. Well, I guess you still have time, because what I look for, we have this internal change of character starting right here, and then you have, if you're looking at the daily, wherever this, what demand sent you there, you could just look at this whole candle or this wick if you wanted to really refine it. And on the 4-hour, this would look different. But, we came up, new supply was introduced. We had that newly introduced demand was not respected. We saw price actually wick, into this zone, pushed up and just bounced right off that supply. So that could show you that it's a liquidity grab. For instance, if I was on a 4-hour chart and I drew a POI and I watched price come into it, on the 15-minute, I'm looking for that internal change of character, and then I want to see that confirm. I don't want to see it be disrespected like this. So that would make me think that bullish break of structure that's on the 4-hour probably will be reversed, unless all of crypto just starts flying, along with all the news that's about BNB getting investigated and stuff like that. Yeah, so I guess really overall narrative for me is just at the end game targeting these lows, but I do want to see price come back up to one of these POIs in order for me to enter shorts, because we're at a premium. I mean, I'd rather us get really all the way up in here, you'd clean out a lot of liquidity. I mean, the higher the better, in all honesty, because that way you've removed a lot of the buy side liquidity. We've also got these relatively equal highs up here. So, ideally it'd be nice to come up and target this. So, while I am bearish overall, trading views alarms. But while I do expect us to go see more downside, I would like to maybe catch the move to the upside. Now that doesn't mean just long it, to get there, but we could look for a setup to develop. And oftentimes with these AMDs, you see them occur or start to set up right after a very big move to the downside, and you look for high time frame inefficiencies to target above, which we have right here. I probably wouldn't take it much farther than that. You could aim to take it farther, whatever, but if I can get good risk to reward from a counter trend trade, I'm not going to force it. So that's where I am with that. Sol just played out pretty nice. It didn't come down. This was a similar setup I wanted to see on Sol, but we did not really come down and sweep any of this liquidity, so there was no trade for me. I actually had messages. People were like, "Thanks for Sol, bro. That shit paid." I was like, "Damn! Like, why did you?" I didn't even take it. I mean, I'm sure there was a setup, but not what I was posting about the other day. With Sol for the 4, I think this is going to be setting up for a nice long if crypto can get that relief bounce we've all been hoping for. We cleared a broke structure to the downside. We got that internal market structure break right after. Now we've found this newly formed supply all the way up here that sent us back down. So we have a pretty wide range to play in. We should at least see a return up to these levels to mitigate. I wouldn't consider this whole candle. I would want to refine from there. I'd probably say somewhere in this wick. That's where you start to see that really violent selling. Maybe even this whole candle. Oh, it did tap into that actually. Swing structure is still bullish here. The 15-minute, I would go from here up to here. So we had that break of structure first. We came down. Here was our swing structure. We broke it to the upside, came up, failed to make a new low. Another break of structure. So at this point, you could look maybe for longs at a POI found in discount. Maybe it was right here. Haven't really got that internal change of character on the 15-minute yet. What you'd ideally want is to break that internal structure, return down to that newly introduced demand, and then break the supply that sent you back down to that demand. I'll look at the 1 minute and just see how we reacted there. I mean, not a terrible setup. If you were watching this, you could have scalped this. Entry. This is what I'm talking about. I'd like to see in the 50-minute. Once you come into your higher time frame POI, and whenever I say higher time frame, I just mean higher than the time frame that you're executing on. Like a higher time frame doesn't have to be a 4-hour or a weekly. It just is higher than what you're using to execute your trade. So we're in our higher time frame POI. the higher time frame is bullish, you know, the 15-minute being the higher time frame. So we look for price to reverse at this POI. So price comes up, breaks this structure right here. This demand sends it back, or this supply sends it back down. If you look, this is where institutional candles come in handy. It's really just the last candle before displacement. It wasn't even really tapped into here. But usually, if I didn't see, like for instance, if this wick wasn't here, I would almost look for a return down to this level. But we've moved far enough away from it where I think it's safe to say that this, you know, this right here was that pullback into the newly introduced demand. It was respected. Might have been another entry off this wick. It looks like that's where this is reacting nicely to. But one would look to target this high up here. Also, we could probably see a move farther up into this supply. Link, yeah, I got you. I just realized I saw that. There's a bunch of comments too.
We're gonna look at FTT too.
Yeah, I got you. Also, sorry guys on YouTube, I'm just now seeing this. I forget to pull it up. So Filecoin, I'll look at that. So I've got Link, FTT, Filecoin. Yeah, Davey, what's up? I did change my chart colors. I changed my logo and everything. So I said, can't wait to buy Bitcoin at 26K. Luna 2 going to 0. Link shorts to 7.5. AVAX 17 buy limit. It's pretty ambitious. We'll see. As far as for ZP, for Tokyo session, probably just consolidation. I mean, I haven't mapped out. I'm going to Bitcoin and map out all the levels. Saying I wasn't really active today. Where's our Tokyo high? It's most likely it. Your Tokyo and your London high up here. I mean, in all honesty, you might see a push up to this side because we did clear out. We didn't clear out the previous daily low. That's actually right here. You did remove a lot of the sell side. You swept it. Got a market structure break to the upside. Came back down to that newly introduced demand, seeming to respect it. Yeah, you could look. You might see price push up here, but I wouldn't look for it probably during the Tokyo session. I would probably look for that during the kill zone. It might move closer to it, but if we're going to see that kind of liquidity rate, it's usually going to happen in London or New York kill zone. But back to, what was the coin that somebody asked first? Link. I think that staking news probably gave it a little bit of a push. Not a fan of that at all. You know, ideally, I'd want to see price come back down to that zone at least. Didn't really get anywhere close. Daily's looking better than most crypto there, I'll tell you that. I mean, this looks pretty good because you came back down. I mean, you had this newly introduced demand wherever you found it. Maybe it was a daily level. Is it over here? I honestly don't know what made you bounce off of here. Like maybe he's buy to sell wick somewhere in here. I'm actually curious now. I don't know. I mean, maybe this. I don't see how that would cause that, but We do have this change of internal structure in the daily. So we had right here, our first break of structure, price came back down, came into that demand, broke the supply that sent us that demand. Potentially look for some long swings if we come back down to $7.20 and you see a nice high time frame structure. Also, like someone said, the 4-hour did switch bullish here. So what do we expect after that? We do expect a pullback. Where can we expect it? You know, maybe you find a supply zone where you fill inefficiencies, or you get in some form of POI that can help you along with that change of character. We haven't seen that on the 4-hour. No signs of a pullback yet, but we can expect one for sure. It's going to happen at some point. Don't FOMO in and just buy it. But we've got that fair value gap here. Also got an order block down here, but I wouldn't look to play that as my first. You might see a bounce off that. You probably will, but it'll most likely be just up to mitigate whatever distribution sends you down from this high. And then you'll come back down, clear these lows, fill this inefficiency, and come into this zone down here. Now, if you wanted to refine this even more, go to that candle. I would say that one of these zones, you could watch both of them. That was where new demand was introduced because we saw displacement after both. But I think it's going to be a little while. You don't have to worry about, camping on it. What I would look for is a pullback somewhere into discount, ideally somewhere within that daily candle. Whoever said the short's 7.5, you're probably not wrong. At some point, though, I don't want to say that now. Like we could see Link rail, and you could see it go all the way up and tap into this. I don't know. Link staking just came out. Who knows? But I would just look for signs of that retracement. Maybe you come up to this 4-hour supply, then start to retrace. You could try to catch shorts on the way down if you wanted. Totally up to you. Might even see it come down farther into this area. FTT. Somebody else asked me about FTT. It was actually UZP. I think Hoochie was one who just asked me in chat, but
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I think we switched bullish on the 4-hour, but we're getting a little bit of a pullback, as I can see on the 15-minute. And this is just what I see, so correct me if I'm wrong. But there's a little demand zone or a little supply zone up there at the tip of the pullback, if that is a pullback.
Let's see. I mean, came down and you respected this daily demand really nice. I will say that right there. Got that initial change of character on the daily right here. Then price came right back down and wicked out from under it, which I don't like that right there. That's not usually a good sign for sustainability, at least when I'm looking at something. But then you right after, I mean, it was clearly liquidity, right? Because right after you got this 4-hour break of structure there, this actually is a better looking chart. Like not bullish or bearish, better, but just like actual price action and not just crypto, like how it's been lately. I mean, yeah, I could see kind of pullback here. So if we look, we can draw our premium discount, map out your zones, and then I would refine them when they're that big on a high time frame. Excuse me.
Okay, yep, I got that zone. Okay. Yeah.
I'd almost watch this as well. right there. Just keep an eye on that. I mean,
Yep,
not
I have that one marked out too. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it's not like the most ideal zone, but it does have a pretty big level of displacement right after it. You could also watch this candle right here. Ideally the lower one, but you did just have this inefficiency filled. So going back to the 4 hour, wicked out this buy side right there, and you're in that supply zone. You could definitely look for a pullback in this area, I would think. You know, if we got a 15-minute, you came into this 4 hour supply zone, also whip or pip that buy side liquidity. So we look here, really say right here, your first internal change of character. I would be patient. I mean, I don't really trade FTT, so I don't know how it reacts, but if this were Bitcoin, like, and I saw this right here, like I was just saying, it's the same setup I've seen on a lot of coins. That super small fair value gap, and then you know you're charting, and you're like, wait, why didn't the supply zone get tapped? You know, I guess you could say you could just draw the whole range, and then it did get tapped. You know, you could do that, but I don't know. I'm just becoming a little bit more picky. And I'm not to say if you're looking for shorts this that you shouldn't be. I'm just saying, me personally, I would, for where we're at now, the only place I would want to short it from is up in here. This is an odd looking candle. But you could look at, you could say, okay, well, price came up. If you draw the supply zone there, you got another bearish change of character there. Then price did come into this zone. So it seems that, you know, supply is definitely in control here. But I see crypto do the same pattern oftentimes, and then once it comes down, it'll come down and either fill in inefficiency or remove the sell side liquidity. After that, it'll come back up for that buy side. 2042. You've got perfect equal lows right there. So a lot of sell side liquidity right there. So
Okay.
be careful if you're in shorts. Like for instance, if price comes under this, watch for a reversal on the lower time frames. Like for, you know, when I say reversal, Jesus, gapping, you would look for something like this, like price come down, maybe make this little structure right here. Hold on. Can't stand how weird that looks. Price come down, and then it goes back up, breaks that. You have your supply zone or your demand zone, and then you've got a fair value gap as well to show that displacement, that the institutional sponsorship. Price comes down, you know, you could enter here if you want. It's a little more risky, not as good risk to reward, or you could enter there, and then I would target the pretty clear buy side liquidity above. Also, you have that supply. So this is ideally, this is going to take a while to play out, and you know, who knows, it might just dump from here or whatever. But to me, building that narrative makes me more confident in a trade setup than just saying like, okay, well, I think we're going to die from here. You know, 4 hour, we hit the supply, pip buy side, started to get, you know, change of character in the 15-minute, newly found supply is being respected. But I've just seen the same setup so many times recently. So that's what I would look for. So I'd look for something like, you know, this. And then you get that real pullback. So I'll actually add this because I like this price action so far. I need to get, I think this was on Tether. I'm gonna put perps in my watch list, but should have probably charted this on perps. Oh well. I'll still set an alert here just so I know. Just have to go mark it up later. That's kind of what I would look for on FTT. But yeah, I know you were asking about these earlier, Zach. So I would look for this is personally what I would look for. And if you're in shorts, I would definitely trim some here. What was the next coin?
All right, cool.
There's another one. Somebody asked.
Hey, Dookie Butt.
What's up, Timothy? Guinea, you said you added J trade, but you asked me if I could see my indicators. It's just this. I need to turn my inside bars back on, but inside bar, my watermarks, and then a fair value gap indicator that shows these little gaps. I thought there was another coin crypto chat. Let me look on the so ADA. I'll just do that one. I could have swore there was another one. Oh, Aave. It's way up here. Sorry. And Filecoin. My bad, guys. I'm slow today. Do Filecoin first. Went over this one kind of recently. I mean, it just looks dead to me. I mean, it just seems there's no interest in this anymore. I could be wrong. It might be just getting accumulated, but looks super fucking weak to me. I see no reason to have any interest in this. I mean, it's just like nothing. Volume's high though. Well, look at that though. That's kind of weird. I mean, of course in the dip, but even volume is remaining high here. I mean, it has the room to go up. I think with another bull run, it'd be a good coin, but and there's a lot of big people behind it. Just here, I just don't see much. Nothing that really interests me as of yet. Daily price swing, super bearish. Ideally you'd want to see a retracement up to one of these levels, but we see no real sign of that yet. 4 hour. Oops. Yeah, everything's just getting pipped, and then huge move to the downside. There's a lot of coins that people ask me about. I just highlight like this is if you believe in it fundamentally. I mean, if you're not a buyer here, then you really don't believe in it. Like if you like this coin and you like the project, and you haven't bought it in the last month, I don't know what to tell you. But if you're a trader, there's much better stuff. Like don't waste your time on this kind of stuff. Aave. I looked at this in a while. This doesn't look bad here. I mean, I don't know if this is a discount though. I mean, it is. Go back over here and see if I can find this. Yeah, it would be this zone for me. I'll actually put this on my watch list for longs potentially. I just want more confirmation. What I'm looking for specifically here, we got our first internal change of character. Came back down. I would just draw an equilibrium on this. Came back down into. You could use the whole zone. See what it looks like in a 5 minute. I'd rather you come down here.
You
This
mind
one,
talking a
man.
little louder, sir?
Who was that? Was that fucking Timmy? But
Yeah, I don't know why I can barely hear you through my phone.
is it quiet? I don't know if it was my end or not.
Okay, yeah, it's better now.
Cool. It might have been mine. My mic was kind of far away. But yeah. Wait, what the fuck happened? I'm on a different coin. Yeah, this setup isn't bad. I'd like to see a return down to this area down here, and then break this structure again. But just crypto lately has been surprised. Like for instance, what I wouldn't be surprised to see here is you really haven't satisfied the demand that was created here. Because we look, it's pretty clear to see when the buyers came into the market. We came down here, kind of consolidated, moved up, pulled back, formed that low time frame range, and then here's where we saw that displacement. We haven't filled the fair value gap or came into the zone, but I wouldn't be surprised to just see this go, and then do all this and come up here, and then it comes all the way down to this zone, and that's where you get your move. But I'll be patient. I won't force anything, especially with longing crypto right now. I'm pretty conservative, but I do like the setup overall. So that's what I'd be looking for, is a nice retracement down in here, break of structure there, and then whenever that new demand is introduced, I would look to take longs. Just target these highs. Kind of plot out. Oh yeah, you got a nice target right there. It's easy money. Oops. Equal highs. Probably be like the first target, really. So I don't really see much any more areas of interest. Like if we didn't hold right here, and start to move up, I wouldn't really find much interest in this, because it's like, yeah, we have that bullish swing to the upside. We got that break of structure, but I'd look after that. I look for a retracement. We got that, and then what do we look for to see when that retracement's ending? It's going to be your 4-hour change of character and internal structure, which we haven't gotten confirmed yet. We got it once, then it just kind of got disrespected here. Got that. And then you see that price came up, but broke down. It did not respect this new demand and come up and take that high. So now that's what we want to see happen. So this is also one that's developing.
Want to see violation?
Yeah, I just want to see a shift in structure to more of a bullish narrative. And then on the 15-minute 2 here, you're still bearish if you use wicks. Came down here was your swing low, you switch bullish, and this was your range. And you came down, broke right here. So it was here, and then here, because you came down, broke that, and you broke that again. So now that high up here, this is your range on the 15-minute. So we're still bearish. Even using internal structure there is pretty aggressive, but I'm using it with the the higher time frame. Because the way I look at this, I'm actually pretty impressed with Ave. But price came down. I think it was weekly demand. There was this weekly demand. We came back in, filled it completely, respected it. We didn't wick under it. It looks like we may have formed some equal lows there. So that's kind of a little sus, but we are starting to see a 4-hour trend reversal on the daily. We're definitely due for a pullback here. Your swing is huge on the daily. and that's the weekly range too, it looks like. So you're due for a pullback here. Where to? Ideally, we're looking for premium. I don't really see many. Is this candle right here, if anything. Yeah, actually, I like that area.
Definitely a good coin to have a little bag of.
Yeah, I like this setup though. If you wanted to really target these levels, we could look for a 15-minute, a little change of character. But realistically, when you're trading like that, you would just be looking to trade the 15-minute pullback, because you always have to go in with the notion that this is just a pullback. We're going to continue this downtrend. But if you really wanted to look for those higher targets, you'd want to ideally see Ave come up, break this structure, come down, and then that be your entry, and you target this high and then other weak highs above. But until then, you really can't rationally target. I mean, you may target it and it might work, but it's just from a lack of understanding of structure, or using your structure when you're framing your trades, because we have to go into this with the notion that this 15-minute downtrend will continue. Loom. Fucking loom, bro. Perps on that? No. I'll do it, but I would go ahead and tell you to give up probably any hopes you've got on this one. This is bullshit. This has been on Coinbase longer than this. I know that for a fact. They get removed. Oh, I'll do it for you, but it's a waste of time. Oh, it was USDC that was on here. Jesus, look at that old ass ugly TA. Fucking loom. I know that this low got swept by the one on the right, but to me they're still relatively equal. I wouldn't look for them to be cleared if it wasn't for this fair value gap right over here. We also have that demand zone. I don't know how much these strategies are really respected. I'm sure they are somewhat, but also never saw a return out of that area. This is really the move that started the rally, though. So until then, if I would be looking to do anything here, I'd short it, but it doesn't even look like you can do that because there's not enough liquidity for it to be traded on futures. I mean, you're better off just going and playing shit coins than trying to mess with this. Daily swing range. Jesus Christ. I'm just gonna ignore this, but use this as your swing range. I guess theoretically, let's just do it. Use that. Then yeah, I don't know, man. I wouldn't. Probably actually that would be the right way anyways. So this is your old high. So at that point, you can look for that right there. I wouldn't get your hopes up though, but that's where I'd look for a retracement. Maybe after that you come down and clear this out. But again, it's just if you ever see charts, just don't even waste your time with this kind of shit. Like honestly, it's really just a waste of time. There's much more to look at than this. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I would just, if anything, you're looking for, eventually you want to come down and clear out these lows at 0.33 and then come into this demand zone. But I would advise not really paying attention to this. Vet, I haven't looked at vet in a while. So I would say, really, your weekly switched bearish. Got a closure, it looks like on the inside bar. Or actually, is this candle right there? So you did get a break of structure. We could be possibly expecting a weekly pullback at some point. But every crypto looks like this. It's just these ridiculous ranges. It's like I don't expect a pullback to this anytime soon. Maybe in a couple of years, but eventually you might look for that zone. I'll refine these as well. These lower ones. Daily swing.
Look at ADA.
ADA, I got you.
Thank you.
And my fucking inbox is just flooded with shit about ADA.
That makes me not want to buy something. I saw that poster and I was like, usually when that shit starts happening, it's like almost engineering exit liquidity. Yeah, with that, you could actually probably catch some nice shorts if we come up to this area. Weekly did that break of structure, so you could expect some kind of pullback at some point. The 4 hour. Originally, gotta change a character like right there. Oh, now I'm gonna go back and look in this zone, see if that was really. So I don't trust that. Yeah. I would want that to get cleared. This is almost kind of like how Bitcoin was looking before it rallied. I would look for that to come back down into this zone. And then maybe see something like this. And then you could target some of these weak highs above. It's honestly kind of looking like Bitcoin did before it rallied. Similar. Not Bitcoin wasn't this far in discount, but you are hugging discount though here. And you're kind of towards equilibrium, but I would look for longs at this level. What is that? It's 2780. Oh wow, it went right on it. Oh Oh, FTT looks like already came down here. Let's see how it reacts. I don't want to sit there and camp on it. I'll come back and check in a second. So it'll probably take a little bit. Nice move down into it. You want to usually see displacement if you are looking for a liquidity raid. But you need that signs of reversal. So that does not mean by any means you just buy or anything like that here. I'll come back in a second. We'll go look at ADA. But if you guys are looking to trade, I'm not going to trade right now, but you could watch for that. Do not enter yet. Yeah, ADA doesn't look too hot, in my opinion. Because you came up, you swept all
Shit,
these
whip.
weak highs from the range here, there. Here, all this got swept. You came up all the way into this refined zone, and you shot back down. Looks like you came into this kind of like rally-based rally demand. This was probably a flip zone. That's where you got that nice bounce. Price came up. Came right here, formed another weak high. It got cleared. For another weak high, it got cleared. And now you're starting to see you came back up into this refined zone. I think it was originally a 15 minute. It's not the prettiest zone, to be honest, but that's where I would have looked. Price came up into it. Here. Now, if you come under that, you're 15 minutes shifting bearish. But when you look, you came into this zone, the internal structure shifted right there. Ideally, you'd want this. So I would rather us come back up here before I'd look to short. This is what I was talking about earlier with the AVE. So we got that breakdown, then you got that new demand. Then it came up. I respected this new supply. It kind of wicked above it. But with some of these alts, you'll see that happen. Could be a little liquidity raid. Regardless, your entry would have been here. You would have targeted lows below. But yeah, maybe look for this low right here to get cleaned right here. And then you might be able to start seeing a little reversal. That'd be nice, but I wouldn't look to short where we're at. The shorts were up in this area. I mean, even this, I wouldn't have taken this because of this right here. But if we can see, price move back up into that area, I would look for shorts for sure. Yep, looks like the beginning of it. So what you'd look for here, I'm about to get off after this, but you'd look for a break. You could use the inside bar if you're aggressive. I would. That's what I would use. You want to see a break with displacement. That's important. You want to see a very animated move up, then price come back down to that fair value gap or order block. You could wait for the second break structure if you want to be more conservative. This is not really the type of day I usually like to trade this kind of setup. Usually you want to see this in the mornings or right after lunch, but I mean, it's pretty, it's there. Looks like that. You're going to see that reaction. So don't just ape in and say, oh, well, this is a big wick. It was definitely a liquidity rate. No matter what, you're going to usually see that kind of reaction. But that's what you'd be waiting on. It's just that break of structure with displacement. Price returns down, move up, and take out. You could just target equal highs above. Oh, yeah, I was like, where's my TA? I forgot it's another. These equal lows or equal highs would be what I'd be. Or no, sorry, they weren't equal highs. Forgive me. This fair value gap is what I'd be really targeting. Just any high along the way. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm almost done with COVID, but I appreciate you all. Sorry. I'll be on stream tomorrow evening. If you guys got any questions, just tweet me, at me in Discord, DM me, whatever, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. For those of you guys who did the Twitter thing and retweeted, I'll do the TA tomorrow. I'm gonna just kind of let them build up and then knock them all out at once. And yeah, until tomorrow, I'll see you guys later.